If you've never been on an airplane before, or if it's been a while since the last time you flew, then this video is for you. Air travel has its own set of unexplained, unspoken rules. And if you're not in the know, then air travel can be super stressful. But with a little preparation, you can breeze through the airport like a pro. Hi, I'm Annie. I'm a frequent traveler and I run the account Average Girl Does Cool Things. And in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know as a first-time or infrequent flyer, from how to pack for TSA all the way to picking up your luggage. So let's get into it. But before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more travel inspo and how-to content. Okay, y'all, I want to preface this first of all by saying that this is primarily for people who are flying United States domestic travel, okay? It's not so much for international flyers if you're based in the US, because the rules can vary. So we're gonna focus specifically on TSA, which is the Transportation Security Administration here in the United States. They're what you have to go through to get through the airport. So we're gonna focus on that and what it's like to fly on domestic carriers. Okay, preface over. Okay, first things first, doing this successfully, traveling successfully, you gotta start by packing for TSA and dressing for TSA. Trust me, by doing these two things, you are going to make your airport experience so much easier. So first thing, we're gonna pack to get through security. Now, I'm assuming if you are a first-time flyer or an infrequent flyer that you do not have TSA PreCheck. What is TSA PreCheck? TSA PreCheck is a program that you actually get pre-vetted to go through security. So they run a background check, you have to apply, you pay a fee, and then you get a trusted traveler number, which you can input whenever you book a ticket. People who have TSA PreCheck get to go through a different line, and they get to pack differently because they don't have to take all the things out that you have to take through at regular security. So this video I'm going to talk about is people who don't have TSA PreCheck, okay? So if you have TSA PreCheck, skip ahead or go watch one of my videos where I talk about TSA PreCheck. Okay, so first of all, if we're gonna pack to get through TSA, first thing we have to do is separate out our liquids. So you pack your liquids and the rule is 3-1-1, means each bottle must be 3.4 ounces or less. You can pack it all in a 1-quart baggie, and each passenger is only allowed one bag. Okay, so that's the 3-1-1 rule. So if you are doing carry-on, you're gonna wanna put any of your liquids into that 1-quart baggie and have that easily accessible so that it's quick and easy to take out. Now, this is just for things that you're going to take through security. You can put whatever in your checked luggage so long as it follows the airline and security rules, but most things can go through your checked bag. This is just for things that you're going to take on the plane with you. So start by packing your liquids baggie and put that into your personal item. Every passenger can take one carry-on item, which is your larger suitcase that fits in the overhead bin. And you can take one personal item, which is a smaller purse or a backpack, something that can fit under the seat in front of you. Your liquid baggie, you're gonna put in your personal item. Now, the second thing you're gonna pack is your laptop or your iPad. Again, these are things that you're going to have to take out at TSA, so you wanna make sure that you're packing them somewhere where it's quick and easy for you to get them out of the bag. So we got large electronics, iPad, laptop, and we've got our liquid baggie. Both of those things are coming out at TSA. Now, what about what you're wearing? So when you go through TSA, you're gonna have to take off your shoes. So you wanna prepare ahead for that by wearing shoes that are easy to slip on and slip off. Probably wear some socks because that floor is really gross. And you're gonna wanna make sure that you are not wearing any metal. So that means belt buckles, jewelry, things like that, because you're gonna go through a scanner that will actually like bling off of metal. So the agents will ask you to remove any metal. So plan ahead by either not wearing a belt or being prepared to quickly take off your belt when you go through. You're also probably gonna have to take off jackets, hats, things like that. So quite honestly, the best way to do this is to wear as little as possible. Within reason, people. Be decent, but pack your layers in your bag so that you can get through TSA quickly. Now, what about for those of you who have metal in your body already? For you, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have a doctor's note noting that you may need additional screening, and let the TSA agents know because they're gonna let you step aside and they will do a manual screening. Okay, now that we've packed and we've dressed for TSA, you're gonna wanna watch the clock because you're gonna check in for your flight up to 24 hours ahead of time. Now, is it absolutely detrimental if you don't check in at the 24-hour mark? Not really. Honestly, that's a thing that came about with Southwest when you had to check in a day ahead of time to fight for a boarding position. But if you're flying any other airline, then you can check in anywhere up to like an hour or two before the flight. It is important to note though, however, with many airlines, if you don't check in at least an hour before the flight, they may assume you're not coming. So make your life easy. Just go ahead and check in for that flight. You want to make your life even easier? Download your airlines app. Airlines apps have become a long way. You can check in for your flight, you can see your flight status, you can make changes to your reservation. Some airline apps even have step-by-step directions for getting you dropped off at the airport and getting you to your gate. So again, make your life easy. Go ahead, download your airlines app, sign in, and make sure that you are tracking your flight. Okay, now we've dressed for security, we've downloaded the app, we've checked in for our flights. What time do you actually need to get to the airport? Now, there's a lot of debate going around about this because like people who are frequent flyers like myself, we love to push it to the edge and get there like right before boarding. I do not recommend that for you. If you are not a frequent flyer, don't do that. Don't put that stress on yourself. Get to the airport at least 2 hours in advance, especially if you are checking luggage. If you're not checking luggage, you could probably do like 90 minutes, but 2 hours you're gonna get through fairly stress-free. Now, if you're checking a bag, you have a couple of options. First off, when you check in for your flight, oftentimes the app will allow you to go ahead and pay for your bag ahead of time. I strongly suggest that you go ahead and do this. It's gonna save you a lot of time and hassle on the back end. Just go ahead, indicate that you are checking a bag, pay for it now, and then you go in, you stand in line, you get up there, and they've already got the information. They can print your baggage tag and get your bag checked very quickly. And if there's a long line at the counter, don't forget to try the curb check, which is outside when you pull up to the airport. Oftentimes those lines are much faster and your bag is going exactly the same place. Now, before you go through all of that process of checking your luggage, I highly recommend that you go ahead, take a quick video or a quick photo of the inside and outside of your luggage. That way, if something goes wrong, if the airline loses your bag or damages your bag, you have photographic evidence of what was in there, what the bag condition was, so that you have a much easier time when you make your claim against the airline. Before you send your bag through, make sure that you have something identifying on it. So tie some kind of ribbon on there, maybe avoid like a red ribbon. You see a lot of black bags with red ribbons come down the carousel. I have stickers on my luggage, but I've also put polka dot ribbons or things that will stand out to you so you can grab your bag much more easily. And know that you are allowed to lock your bag as long as you use a TSA approved lock. A TSA approved lock will allow TSA to get into your bag should they see something that they're concerned about on the X-ray, but other people won't be able to get in there. It's just a nice little peace of mind. Lastly, when you do check your bag, make sure that you keep your baggage ticket. This is a little sticker that they're gonna give you that corresponds to your ticket. And that way, if your bag does go missing, you've got the receipt basically that you can go in and show the airline representatives to help claim your bag. Don't lose that receipt. Okay, now you've checked your bag. This is the fun part. This is the part that freaks everybody out. We're gonna go through TSA. Now, people often complain that TSA is constantly changing, and this is sort of right. The thing is, not every airport has the same TSA screening equipment, nor do they have the same staffing personnel or the same line capabilities. So you may encounter different experiences when you go to different airports. On top of that, sometimes there are heightened security restrictions which we may not be aware of, and that will change TSA's procedures a little bit and make them more difficult or stronger, right? So just know whatever you're doing in TSA, pack your patience and your understanding, and you'll be fine. The first thing you're gonna make sure you do is get in the correct line. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone through TSA PreCheck and there's somebody at the front of the line getting turned back because they don't have TSA PreCheck and they have to go all the way back to the end of the general line and start all over again. It's heartbreaking. So make sure that you get in the correct line. There are lots of different lines, quite honestly. There is TSA PreCheck, which you'll know you have TSA PreCheck if your ticket has the TSA PreCheck symbol on it. If you don't have TSA PreCheck on your ticket. There's also Clear, which is a paid expediting program. There are priority lanes, which are for passengers who are typically first class or have a higher airline status. And there's the general line. If you're a first-time flyer, I'm guessing you're probably gonna be in the general line. So make sure you get in the correct one. Okay, when you get up to the front of the line, to the TSA agent, currently, the way screening works, you hand over your ID and they take a photo. Remember, right now you have to have a real ID or a passport. Make sure that you have the correct form of identification. A regular old driver's license doesn't cut it anymore. So make sure you have the proper identification that will get you through TSA. So you get to the TSA agent, you hand over your ID, they take a photo of your face, and then the biometrics should clear you to be able to go straight through. And the officer will tell you, thank you, and they'll hand your ID back and you'll move forward to the security screening line. Sometimes I have seen people who had to present their boarding pass as well because something wasn't reading properly or checking out properly. So personally, I always like to have my boarding pass pulled up on my phone. You could also have your paper boarding pass, but just having it nearby and quickly accessible will help to make sure that you don't feel all frazzled. If they do ask for your boarding pass, you're not like, digging through trying to find it. So I like to just have it out with my ID just in case I need it. Okay, now we've gotten past the first TSA agent. Now we gotta get our stuff through the screening. Here's how I recommend you do this. I'm an efficiency person, so I am the girl who's like, I want the TSA agent to like hold up my bin and be like, everybody copy this person. I'm a weirdo like that. So here's how I do it. If I have a carry-on, so let's say I've got a personal item, which is like my backpack or purse with my laptop, my liquids in it, and I've got a suitcase with me, I'm gonna send my suitcase down first, okay? Then I'm gonna take 2 bins, boom, boom, 2 bins. I'm going to take the things that I need to take out of my backpack. So my liquids, my laptop, those are going in the first bin, okay? By the way, if you're bringing a water bottle, just remember, empty water bottles, okay? This trips people up all the time. In fact, I screwed up on this recently. So empty water bottles, they can stay in your bag, but make sure they're empty. So liquids, laptop, or iPad, whatever, in the first bin. Second bin, I'm gonna put my shoes, my jacket or whatever, and my bag, if it all fits. If I gotta go to a third bin, that's fine. Now the trick here is I wanna send the bag through first before my liquids and my laptop. So I'm gonna put the bin with my bag, send it through, and then my liquids, my laptop, and send it through. I personally always like to kind of wait to make sure that my laptop heads into the X-ray before I walk away from it. I'm just nervous that it's gonna like disappear. This is just maybe me, but you might wanna do that as well. So I wait, make sure that gets onto the conveyor belt part. A lot of people just leave it, like there's the rolly things and then there's the actual conveyor belt that moves. So don't just leave your stuff on the rolly things. It's your responsibility to push it through and make sure it gets onto the conveyor belt. Okay, so all my stuff, I've taken off my shoes, everything's gone through. I go up, you're gonna go through one of the scanners. I'm doing this because I'm gonna explain it to you. TSA PreCheck gets to go through x-rays. Most people don't get to go through x-ray unless you have TSA PreCheck, otherwise you go through a full body scanner. So the full body scanner is that weird thing, it looks like a half a plastic tube. You walk in, you stand there, they've got like little foot outlines for your feet. Put your feet on the foot outlines, then you like hold your hands over your head. You do one of those. It's very weird, but they've got lots of like outlines to show you exactly how to do it. You hold still for 3 seconds, and then they tell you thank you, and you walk out. They hold you for a second just to check the scan, make sure nothing has like blinged on the scan, and then you can go get your stuff. If something blings on the scan, they may just send you back, have you take it off, or they may conduct a pat down of like that area. But this is where you don't want to wear anything blingy. I actually had to get patted down because I had a tank top on that had like sparkles on the shoulders, and that blinged off the machine. So again, like very basic, we're dressing very plain. Okay, now you can go get your stuff. You're gonna head over, pull your carry-on off the conveyor belt, then you're gonna grab your bins. Okay, here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to stand there and try to put your shoes on and try to put all your stuff away while you're standing at the exit of the X-ray machine tunnel. Don't do that, because you're just gonna hold up the line. You got a whole bunch of people's stuff piling up. People are getting annoyed. You're getting frustrated. Just calmly grab your 2 bins and your bag, and they will have space for you after your TSA. They will have space for you with tables, chairs for you to go get yourself organized. Don't try to do it all at the X-ray machine. Take it to the table. Get out of the way. Okay, that's the hardest part over. You got through TSA. Congratulations. Now you're gonna go find your gate. So you can find your gate either through your airline app, it should be on your boarding pass as well, and it's gonna be on the big screens in the airport. I always recommend you at least check the big screens because gates do change. So even if it's on your boarding pass, that may not be the most up to date. Double check the screens, make sure you know where you're going. Then you've probably got some time to kill. So go shop, go eat, hang out, whatever, go read, go charge your electronics, hang out by the gate, whatever you wanna do. You got some time to kill until it's time for the boarding process. Every airline is going to be a little bit different, but generally, airlines will have you board by groups. The groups might be in A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The groups might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody does it differently, which just makes it more confusing. Except for Southwest, but Southwest is changing it. So like Southwest is its own beast, and I don't even want to talk about Southwest. So we're just gonna focus on the traditional airlines that don't use Southwest's crazy open boarding process. Okay, so if you are not a frequent flyer, chances are very good that you're gonna be in one of the later boarding areas, one of the later boarding groups. So just hang out. Don't crowd the gate. Don't try to like get in line yet. Just hang out, hang back, like let the boarding process go through. Because it takes a long time, especially now with all the pre-boarding that's allowed. Holy moly, half the plane is on the plane before the pre-boarding is over. So in pre-boarding, they're gonna board anybody who needs a little extra time or assistance, like people who are in wheelchairs, for example. They will pre-board any families with children under the age of 2. Many airlines will allow active duty military to go ahead and pre-board, and then they allow their highest status tiers to go ahead and pre-board. So that's a lot of people who get on that flight first. Pre-boarding got very popular when they did away with free bags because everybody's trying to bring a bag on the plane and they're trying to get overhead luggage space, and you know, you really are only gonna get that if you're in like zones 4 and higher. After that, it can be a little dicey. But once our pre-boards are done, they're gonna go through the groups 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order. So just wait until your group is called and then you're gonna go ahead and join the queue, the line for my American friends, and head on down to the plane. One thing I want to point out here, a lot of people, a mistake many people make, is that airlines only allow you to have a personal item and one carry-on. That carry-on, again, is your like larger roller bag luggage that fits in the overhead compartment, and then your personal item, which is like your backpack or your purse, whatever that is. Some airlines have gotten quite strict about that baggage requirement. So I have seen many people who had like fanny packs on or bum bags on, and they had their personal item and then their suitcase, and the flight ops people at the gate stop them and make them get out of line and like consolidate their items before they head down the jet bridge. So make your life easier. Make sure that you only have 2 bags out. If you have a fanny pack or like a small purse or something, shove it in your carry-on or shove it into your personal item before you head down the jet bridge. I haven't seen them do this to anybody who has food, like a bag of food though. But even then, I'm always prepared to just like shove it in my bag just in case. I don't want to mess with the gate agents. They have a lot of power. Okay, so you're gonna go up, you're gonna scan your ticket. If you're using a boarding pass on your phone, do yourself a favor, make sure that the brightness is all the way up. That's gonna make it a lot easier to read. You're gonna scan your boarding pass and then you're gonna head on down the jet bridge. We're almost there. Now, if you are a nervous flyer, I highly recommend when you get on the plane, say hello to the flight attendants and just tell them you're a little nervous because they'll look out for you. They'll give you a little extra special attention. Now, walking down the aisle, your seat numbers are going to be above you. So you're gonna walk down to your row. Seats are typically A, B, C, D, E, F, straight across, with A and F being your window seats, C and D being your aisle seats. So you get down to your seat, you're gonna put, if you have a rollerboard, that piece, the larger piece of luggage, that's gonna go in the overhead bin. Wheels first, okay? Wheels first, handle out. Some planes now, they want you to actually put it on its side and it will indicate that. There'll be pictures in the bins that say like put it on your side, or just look at what everybody else is doing, like somebody will get it. Stow your bag, and then you're gonna put your personal item in underneath the seat in front of you. Please, please, don't put jackets in the overhead bin. Don't put your personal item in the overhead bin, okay? Large items in the overhead bin, because the flight attendants will come around and ask people and like move things around, and then, you know, you feel like you're getting chastised. Just the rollerboard, okay? Just the larger suitcase goes in the overhead bin. That leaves room for everybody else who's also trying to get their rollerboard on the flight. Okay, go ahead and grab your seat. If somebody's gonna have to get by you, like if you're in the aisle seat and your other 2 seats are empty, don't bother buckling in yet until your people are there, because otherwise you'll just have to unbuckle and get up. Go ahead, grab your seat, make sure everything's stowed away. Okay, now that we are seated, we put on our seatbelt. Let's talk about takeoff and service expectations. First things first, always listen to the flight attendants, okay? The rules are very clear and they will spell them out. So listen to the flight attendants, and you know, when they say like, please remain seated, the seatbelt sign is fastened, remain seated because the seatbelt sign is fastened. Before you take off, you will have to have your tray table up, your seat back up, your items stowed underneath the seat in front of you. All large electronic items like your laptop also have to be stowed. Why? Not because they're trying to be difficult, but because it's a safety thing. I don't want to put this in your head if you're a nervous flyer, but let's just say something happens on takeoff and everybody has to evacuate the plane. Let's say like it runs off the runway, okay? That's not that scary. But let's say everybody has to get off the plane quickly. If there are tray tables down, if there are seat backs down, that's a lot of things that people have to navigate, and they're hazards to get around, they're tripping over bags. Like, that is why everything needs to be stowed away, and like your path to the emergency exit needs to be clear. Okay, it's a safety thing, not like an aesthetic thing or an annoyance thing, like safety first, okay? Now the other thing here is once the plane is moving, okay, once they push back from the gate, we start heading out to the runway to take off, there is no getting out of your seat. There's no unbuckling your seatbelt, there's no getting out of your seat. I don't know what has happened in aviation lately, but I've been on multiple flights in the past 6 months where people have gotten out of their seat while we were still on an active runway. That is a big no. They will stop the plane and like get out of line if people are not seated and buckled in. Also, by the way, they lock the bathroom on takeoff. So if you like have to pee or something, like you're not gonna be able to get in the bathroom anyways. So just stay seated until the flight has taken off. You've reached your cruising altitude. That'll like get little dings on the airplane, and the flight attendants will tell you that it's safe to get up and use the restrooms. But please don't get out of your seat otherwise, all right? And when you're in flight, like even if they turn the fasten seatbelt sign off, keep your seatbelt buckled because unexpected turbulence is very much a thing. Trust me, I lived it. It was terrifying, but I had my seatbelt on, so I was okay. My dinner was not, it went flying. So for flights that are over like 40 minutes or so, you'll typically have the flight attendants come down with the drink cards. You can get a drink, you can get snacks, you can buy things for purchase. If you think you're gonna buy something like a snack or an adult beverage, you need to preload a credit card into the app or have a credit card handy. Most flight attendants now, they only take you payment through the app. They actually go in, they have a little like system where they can go in and like find your seat and they'll verify it's you and then they'll charge it to whatever card you have on file. Nobody takes cash, so don't think you can pay for anything with cash because you can't. But otherwise, while you're on your flight, you can watch a movie, you can connect to Wi-Fi and get some work done, or you just hang out and take a nap. If you need something, you can always ring your call button to get a flight attendant's attention. Okay, so let's talk about some of those unspoken rules that you might encounter on a flight. First of all, headphones. This also should kind of be a no-brainer, but like, you're required to use headphones if you are watching a movie or like using your personal device. A lot of people play games on their phones, not realizing that the sound is on. It's real annoying. You just hear like dinging or like little gem noises. Headphones or silence required. Second thing, keep your shoes on. I can't believe we have to say this. And quite honestly, like on longer flights, yes, people take their shoes off. Make sure you're wearing socks though, and that your feet don't smell. Please. Also flights, like planes are gross, guys. Planes are really kind of gross. So you don't want your bare feet on the floor. Don't do that. And always wear shoes in the bathroom. Always wear shoes when you're walking around the plane. Like there could be like dirt, broken glass, things in the aisleway. There can there's the bathrooms that's not all water on the floor. So like wear your shoes if you're walking around on the plane. A couple other little things you see a lot that are quite annoying. One, when people are getting out of a seat, they grab the seat in front of them and like pull. You're just pulling the person in front of you. Like those seats are not stable or not static. So really try to limit that unless you have like a mobility issue and you're just really having a hard time getting out. Same goes for like letting your tray table drop. Always try to like gently let your tray table down because again, if you just let it drop, it's gonna bounce and it just pulls on the person's seat in front of you. And then probably two of the most like controversial, if we're gonna go there, would be reclining your seat and controlling the window shades. People love to argue about whether you're allowed to recline your seat or not. Look, your seat reclines. Like there's a reason your seat reclines. Personally, I think it's okay to recline your seat, but I do suggest if you are going to recline your seat, like give the person behind you either a heads up or like slowly do it so they have a chance to move things or adjust things. A lot of times people will just like hit the button and push, which has the seat go flying back. And like I've had laptop screens get like crunched because the laptop was up and the person hit their seat back and then the laptop screen got crunched in between like the top of the tray table thing and the tray table itself. So like just do it slowly. Give the person behind you like common courtesy of just a little bit of warning. As for window shades, honestly, the person who sits at the window is supposed to control the window shade. Now, you can politely ask them to put it down or put it up or whatever, but it is technically like their right or their control. They have control, right? They chose the window seat, they get control of the shade. So if you want to control the shade and you want to look out the window, sit in the window seat. Okay, we're almost there. We've almost arrived at our destination. We're going to talk about getting off the plane. So you land, okay? Same rules apply as taxiing to takeoff. You're going to stay in your seat with your seatbelt buckled. Do not get out of your seat. Don't do it. they'll stop the plane. Stay in your seat. You're gonna get to the gate, everybody's gonna sit there anxiously waiting for the final ding, and then they're gonna rip off their seatbelts and everybody stands up. You don't have to do that. I like to stand up pretty quickly because I just wanna stretch my legs out, but then you're kind of standing there hunched underneath the overhead compartment and it's not very comfortable. So feel free to stay seated. Common courtesy, you let the row in front of you go before you then depart. I see a lot of people lately who are just like running from the back of the plane to the front. You're not supposed to do that. It's just, again, it's one of those like unspoken rules. The only time you do that is if you have a tight connection. And oftentimes, if flights are delayed, you will have the airline attendants come over the loudspeaker and let people know that there are tight connections. They'll often have people like raise their hands if you have a tight connection, and then they ask everybody who doesn't have a tight connection to stay seated while those people go. As somebody who's had many tight connections, please allow that to happen. It makes a huge, huge difference. Otherwise, you're gonna wait until the row in front of you has stood up and is starting to like file out. Now, during this time, you're gonna wanna pack all your stuff away in your personal carry-on item, so it's easy to just grab. I recommend also when you're landing, you can put everything away, but hold on to your cell phone. But when you get up to get your bag, put your cell phone in your carry-on, in your personal item rather, or in your pocket so that you have a hand free. So you're gonna grab your personal item, sling it on your shoulder, and then you're gonna reach up with one hand, grab your luggage, pull it down, and then please, this is where I'm gonna ask for your help. Walk a few feet forward before you start getting all your stuff together. I cannot tell you how many people stand up, they get their bag down, and then they stand there and they pull the thing up from their bag, the handle, and then they like put their personal item and they get it all situated and strapped in, and then they walk forward off the plane. And like meanwhile, everybody else is standing there waiting for them to move so that they can also get their bags out of the overhead compartments. Don't be that person, okay? Grab your bag and at least walk like 3 steps forward so that you're just a little bit out of the way and people can kind of do the shuffle, and that will give you the little extra time that you need to get yourself situated and get off the plane. Please. Okay, now you walk off the plane, you're gonna go all the way to baggage claim. If you checked your bag, you gotta go get your bag. This is why I don't check a bag, because I just wanna get out of there. So typically they will announce whatever baggage carousel that you'll be collecting from when you're on the flight, but I've noticed lately they do that really quickly and you don't always catch it. So if you get down to the baggage carousel, there should be large screens that will tell you which flight number is at which carousel. Head over there, wait. When your bag comes off, make sure that it's your bag. So double check your identification tag, double check your baggage tag that the airline put on there versus the receipt that you got. Make sure that they match. And give your luggage a quick once-over. If there's any damage to your luggage, you want to head to the baggage desk. The airlines will all have like a little office. You want to head there first and make sure you start a claim before you even leave the airport. Okay, woo, that is a lot to consider. If you have any questions about taking a flight for the first time, please leave them in the comments below and I will get to everyone that I can. And if you want tips on what you should put in your personal item, I've got a video for that. Go watch this one next. Until next time, go create a life you love. Bye!